BeastNet Podcast, sponsored in part by James Safety Services, OCR Buddy, and supported by the fitness community. Here we discuss all things fitness related, running, rucking, mental health and preparedness, and of course, obstacle course racing. Welcome to the BeastNet.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the BeastNet Podcast. My name's Lisa Ann, Curvy Warrior, and this is Brittany, and we're just kind of just starting the new year fresh with interviewing, and you and I guess, are bariatric sisters because I had the surgery 2 years ago, so definitely whole lifestyle change.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I don't know how you've been like getting back into like being physical with physical activity and stuff. I went to Tanzania this last September and did Kilimanjaro, and I learned one big thing. I have to find a way to get more carbs in.
Okay, good. So I can pick your brain on Tanzania because I'm going in 27 and I am beyond worried about my fuel and all of that. And yes, carbs. So
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, which surgery did you have?
So I had the gastric sleeve.
Okay.
So I didn't do the bypass. They felt the sleeve would be best for me at first. I'm like, okay, cool, we'll start there.
Yeah.
And it's been great so far. I've probably gained like maybe 20 pounds back, but I'm like, meh, not too worried about that. So yeah, carbs were the hardest part for me on the whole trip for climbing Kilimanjaro, because you get to a certain height. I think it's like a Harumbo, and don't quote me on how high that is, but it's pretty freaking high. They start transitioning you away from so much protein to more carbs, and carbs are hard for, at least for me, to eat because they fill you up so fast. So it's like, oh, I take like 5 or 6 bites. I'm like, I'm full. So that's the fuel I'm trying to figure out. I want to go back and I want to actually be able to summit. I wasn't able to summit. Part of it was altitude sickness, and I think the biggest part for me was fuel. Like, my body just burned it so quick that I didn't have that. The carb loading that a normal person with a regular stomach can get, they can do.
Yeah.
We're not able to necessarily carb load like that. So
no, and the frustration is real. So and it's not just, I guarantee you, it wasn't just the oxygen sickness like a normal you would thinking. I've found with racing that there is this weird anomaly that can happen, and I've spoken with various different types of gastric, and that's one of the main reasons why I asked which one, because I had a lady who had gastric sleeve who reported the same thing to me, and I call it an iron crash. And there's actually multiple different type of nutritional crashes. I have sugar crashes, iron crashes, hydration crashes, which is just complete dehydration, overheating crashes, because I would get hyperthermia just as much as I get hypothermia. And then there's the complete and utter malnutrition shutdown crash. So I've learned because each of them have almost all the same symptoms, but like the malnutrition crash has one key symptom none of the rest have. So, but the iron crash actually messes with your oxygen, because the blood in your veins, if you're not able to eat enough, your body cannot move that blood, which means it cannot move the oxygen through your veins. So because me and Erica have talked about me having issues, because technically that would mean that we have hypoxemia. Now I've gone through all the blood work tests and all this. So hypoxemia is that when the oxygen in your blood cannot move. And that is when I found our iron gets too low. So we need protein. And when I have a carb/sugar crash, it's just mainly a lot of shaky and a lot of stuttering. But with the iron crash, it's complete brain checkout. It's because it's happened to me on a race course once, a complete iron crash, and it was still the scariest race course moment, because 1 minute I'm okay, and the next minute my eyes are open, I'm on the ground, I don't know who I am, I don't know where I am, and I don't know who my teammates are that are talking to me, and I can't communicate back. I literally cannot think.
That's so interesting because like I felt like I was doing pretty good. Like we got to Kibo, we're at like 15,000 feet, which is that's pretty
Yeah.
damn high. Like, I'm feeling okay, a little tired, no big deal. But as soon as we left Kibo and we're trying to ascend to summit, I got maybe another 1,000 feet up, and every step I took, I was trying to I was trying to keep myself awake. I would like start to
Yeah.
like close my eyes. I'm like, whew, okay. And that happened a couple times. And finally I was like, you know what? Done. I'm tapping out. I'm
Yeah.
tapping out now. And I'm glad I did because I listened to my body, but that would make sense on that. Like I just had like I don't even know how to describe it. I just was like starting to like want to pass out. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm done. So it might have been that, like, I attribute it to the carbs, but I eat such a high protein diet that you take that protein out, and I'm just like,
And the main thing I've learned, and I learned it to do my first ultra, I had to figure out the carbs. I have to have as much protein on course as carbs. And like I said, we can't carb load. We can't
no,
protein load. It's just figuring it out. So it's getting both at the same time. So I'm known for my mini Hawaiian ham sandwiches. And one ham sandwich, I can eat just one, but it has tavern ham on it, and then it's the Hawaiian roll, which is sugary. And
yeah,
then I have mustard packs. They're like I'll take a handful from gas stations. And so on course, I open a mustard pack, put it in there, eat my sandwich. I'm full. And the walking and all the moving, of course, helps it digest. So I'm
yeah,
ready to eat again within 40 minutes because on a Spartan race course, and if I'm with more heart, I have to eat every 30 to 40 minutes, depending on which race we're doing, which distance.
okay, that makes sense. Like I am still at that point where I'm still figuring my body out, and
Yeah,
I very much so like I get focused and I'm start to do something and snacking, making
it's
sure I
hard.
eat yeah, I don't even think about it. So it's like I'm going and then like, oh, wait a minute. I don't feel so hot. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When was the last time I ate? Oh, it's been a few hours, but I probably should eat something. So
Yep.
that's where I'm at. And I kind of did that. I know I did that on the mountain because, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I was just living in the utter moment. And
Yeah.
snacking wasn't necessarily a big.
So when the race where I iron crashed, we realized I was gonna have to eat more so. And I was doing like that. I would just eat whenever I thought about it or when my stomach growled. So for a while, it was I had a teammate would actually set a timer on their watch. So then, because I didn't have a smartwatch and I didn't really have the money to get one.
Yeah.
I did save up and I did get one, but there was a bit of savings. So I had a lot of bit of races in between, and I always had
Yeah.
a teammate that was willing to set an alarm or just didn't mind me asking, "Hey, what time is it? Hey, what time is it?" But that and so it just kind of got into my head, and then I got this thought in my head that I realized that I know I've eaten enough food for the entire race day if I'm sick of food. If I'm not sick of food, I haven't eaten enough. So that also keeps me in memory because I'll be on a race course and I'll be going for a while and I've eaten a lot and I'm like, oh, do I really need to eat? I mean, really? And then I'm like, wait, are we sick of eating? No, we can eat some more. And so then I know I gotta eat because to
Yeah.
me it gets to the point to where I'm sick of tasting food.
Yeah.
I'm sick of chewing. I'm sick of the entire texture and swallowing. It just gets so ick.
Yeah.
That for me has become, I guess, mentally a hard part with racing because as you know, we're also taught leading up to gastric bypass surgeries, do not do that. Do
Yeah.
not graze eat, do not force eat, don't do
Yeah.
that. And so you had to take that whole rule book and you got to throw it out the window on race day.
Yeah.
Yeah, mentally, it's not, it ain't easy. At least for me, it hadn't been easy.
Oh no, it's not easy. I am definitely fighting like the old urges like for grazing and whatnot. And it was great the first couple of years. I did really great. And now um I'm dealing with a lot of just stress and stuff going on with my mom, and I can totally see like old habits, and I'm
Yeah,
trying to fight them, but it's like, oh, do I want to?
yeah,
And so it's a hard it's a hard thing to juggle, and especially when you're like wanting to be active and like with the racing and hiking and everything else, it's hard to balance. Okay, what rules do I keep and what rules do I just say, not going to worry about right now?
Yeah, I've had a lot of that this month. Seasonal depression's been a thing. And so it's been like, do I really need to eat the pretzels? No, but I'm going to eat the pretzels. I'm
Yeah.
in bed depressed all day. I know I need to go walk. I know I could go to the gym, but the depression is going to win, and not today.
Yeah.
I take it day by day and
Yeah.
better, and just give myself a lot of grace and try to remember, don't board eat or don't eat my emotions. Like
Yeah.
Tuesday, I had a really rough morning with an appointment I had. It was just not a good day. And so I immediately fell back into that old eating my emotions. Like I had to stop myself because I just started eating. And I was like, I'm so hungry. Why am I hungry? And I'm like, wait a minute. Mentally, you're hungry, but physically, you're
Not. Yeah.
I went and walked outside for 3 miles and some change, and then I came home, and then I started eating again. So I was like, wait a stop again. So then I went and I worked out on my floor. So when I felt like eating, I just got on the floor and worked out.
That's a good way of doing it. Good distraction. I've been journaling a lot, and I can call myself out in my journal, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
now I have to actually do that in practice, and it's hard, especially with like the emotional, the like with depression and the seasons and everything. It's really hard at times to do that, and
yeah,
I'm noticing with the extra stress with my family member and the health stuff going on there, it's really hard to do
yeah,
that distraction. And it's definitely giving myself a lot of grace. You learn to
yeah.
definitely give yourself grace on things, and
You
that's
really have
not
to.
easy.
No,
I
but
don't
you
think.
are doing great. You really, really are.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I can say it was the best decision I ever made. I so glad I did it. Um and it's definitely been a learning curve, and I don't know if I would have been able to do Kilimanjaro had I not had the surgery.
Yeah,
And I'm so thankful I did, and that trip was so amazing, and I did. I promised Erica I would go back and actually summit, and
yeah.
it's learning. I just figuring out that carb protein ratio, because you get to
Oh,
that.
27, 2 bariatrics, 27.
Oh, that actually that might be very doable. When in the year are you going? Is it September again? Do you know?
September. I'm assisting an adaptive athlete in September.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. I better just put that on the calendar. That's how ended up going. Is I would just Erica posted something, and I was like, "Oh, she sells spaces," and I'm like, "Well, how much is the deposit?" And spur of the moment, put down money for it, and I was like, I had 9 months to figure it out.
Yeah,
And I'm like, okay, I don't do things small, I guess, and I decided to get
yeah.
randomly do things, but it was great. I life changing trip for me for sure, and it's just that carb protein ratio, especially when you get to that height, and they
Oh,
start weaning you off the protein.
so one thing I would recommend. So now I can't do the carb version of this, but by using this as your protein, it gives you room in your belly. Frog fuel, protein.
Oh,
Now, this is my most expensive supplement because even on non-athletic days, I intake 2 a day. Now,
oh,
my body only absorbs 20% of everything I intake. I don't know how yours is because my stomach was completely removed.
oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
80% was completely removed.
Yeah.
I'm more akin to what's called a Sadie bypass. I'm ruined why, but my gastric bypass doctor liked his way better, which is my stomach is actually a banana.
That's how, yeah, I
It's the
have,
shape of a small banana.
yeah.
And then he removed that 80% of the stomach, and then my hookup site is at a different site. It's more lower. So
Oh, okay.
it's taken me a while to kind of understand what all that meant. And I'm
Yeah.
like, really wish I could have just done a normal Roux-en-Y surgery. My life might have been easier. I don't regret it, but as an athlete, it's
You have to change everything.
yeah. And
And
see,
it's not easy.
I wasn't an athlete prior. I had no athlete knowledge. I'm all self-taught up until I met Joey and More Heart, which was on race day number, like my second race. So,
oh wow, yeah.
so luckily I met them at the beginning, and they were like, "You know nothing at being self-taught, but kudos for trying. Let's teach you everything we can." And thank goodness, because I don't think I would have made it to where I've made it racing without them.
Yeah. Yeah, mine was the sleeve. I have like I absorb a good portion of what I take in. Basically mine's like a medium-sized banana. I just have like
Yeah.
a small banana for a stomach, and um yeah, the carb thing was the hardest part for me, honestly. That was the hardest part
So
for the whole thing.
for your carbs, well, for me, by making my protein count the highest I can, but not in a non-solid form, gives me
Yeah.
room for the carb. Because what I would do on a race course is I would pop that protein and I would turn around and open up a granola bar to hit my carb, one right after the other.
Okay, that would.
And this is what I love, and where I was getting to about how much our bodies absorb of our food. This doesn't go to your stomach either. This is actually absorbed into your bloodstream, and it's within 15 minutes, fully digested, fully in your body, fully doing its thing.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
showed it to my bariatric doctor back in May for my checkup, and he said that that was the most perfect thing for anybody who's bariatric, because he said basically the way you should look at your food, especially if you're being an athlete, is you have short gut syndrome. And how a person with short gut syndrome has to eat, especially the athletes, is purees and baby foods and things like
Yeah.
that. Now, I don't know about you, but I did my puree baby food time after gastric bypass, and look, I still can't drink Gatorade or Powerade.
I
Oh,
have
I
a
hate
hard time
Gatorade.
with certain protein drinks. I have a really hard time with, because that's all you could do for a while.
Mhm.
I had just started to like eggs, and now eggs, I'm like,
I'm just now liking eggs again.
yeah, like there's certain foods that I'm just like, nah, I'm
Mm-mm.
good. I'm good. I can't right now. But I can see like having a more liquid form of protein. I do a lot of like protein drinks, like not like actual like shakes, but I get like the protein waters that, I can drink those.
Yeah,
I'm a medical assistant, so I'm on my feet during the day,
yeah,
up and down, up and down. So having fluids to drink, I mean, I'm staying
yeah.
hydrated and I'm getting protein at the same time.
Yeah.
So
I just wouldn't do protein liquid, any liquid on a race course. The gel, one thing, but not the liquid, because it's
good.
easily regurgitated. And with
Yeah.
the protein, it's going to be heavy. And the other thing I've learned that is, on a race day, we don't
Yeah.
have a diet. We eat what we know we can eat and won't upset our stomachs, but no diet
Yeah.
exists. So your carbs and sugars, I get the most organically clean gummy bears I can find. It goes
Yeah.
down to, I bring candy. I get as organic and clean as I can get, but it's something my teammate Amanda, she touched on, which is where I learned to have sugar crashes, is not getting enough sugars and carbs. So
Yeah.
Snicker waffles, they're too sweet for me. So I found my sugar carbs that work, but having the small sugar carbs has really helped. And that remembering
Good.
every 20 to 30 minutes
Yeah.
when you're walking, you're moving, and it'll also take you time to learn how long it takes for your body to digest. So that's
Yeah.
how I down to a science how often I have to eat on that race course. Now, if I'm going solo, which I don't go very fast on my own, but if I am solo, I'm more eating like every 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh.
So it's a lot more spread out. On a
Yeah.
Mudder course. Now, I have found, as a person who originally hated Tough Mudder, 100% hated Tough Mudder, who just finished Holy Grail, I 100% love Tough Mudder. Because I'll call them my medical problems, bariatric stuff, medical problems. My
Yeah.
medical problems, they don't exist on a Tough Mudder course, because the obstacles are different. They're not strength based, they're more mental based.
Yes.
We eat less on a Tough Mudder course.
Oh yeah.
I did toughest in August in a 12-hour overnight event. I have never at any race been at 150% before. that blew me away. Like, I can't get enough
Wow.
of toughest. I'm not doing a toughest event this year, and it hurts my soul, but I'm gonna do one next year. But
Nice.
to me, overnight events, which there aren't really any but toughest in
Yeah.
OCR, is where the bariatric community can thrives, to be blunt. Sorry for my F-bomb. I'm bad about
You're fine.
because we have all day to eat before the race, and you don't get that normally. With an ultra, you got to stick anywhere from a 6:30 to a 7 start time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for toughest, your start time's 8 p.m. all day.
Oh yes,
So
you can
then
eat all
you
day.
can so then you can carb load.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did. I just ate and carb load, ate and carb load. And so we had to be there at like 4, and I'm just sitting in a chair and I'm just eating every 30 minutes. Just small things, just
Yeah.
things like M&Ms, gummy bears, all the little because I use Unreal candy because they don't use food dyes or anything. So I'm just
Yeah.
eating all that left and right. I got chocolate chip cookies. I'm not on a diet. I don't care. I'm about to do toughest. But
Yeah.
bariatric issues never became an issue. And I got to wear a waist belt instead of a trail bag, which is the first time I've ever been able to do something like that because it's also the loops are 5 mile loops. So you
Oh
pull into your pit as well.
yeah.
So for the first 2 laps, I didn't have to wear a waist belt. I literally had tears of joy rolling down my cheeks. I was so happy that I could race what I called naked.
Yeah, you don't have because you're not having to carry something to carry your snacks or your fuel or anything to like keep you
Exactly.
going. Yeah.
I've got a skort on, so I've got snacks shoved in my skort pockets, and then I did have to put a wetsuit on because I don't know if you can, but I can't regulate my body temperature in hot or cold water or hot or cold temperatures. Either way it goes. If it's hot temps, I'm screwed. If it's cold temps, I'm screwed.
Yeah, I have that issue. Like at work, racing I'm still haven't gotten fully back into, but I know like even at work, like I have a cardigan on and then all of a sudden I'm really hot, so I have to take it off. Then I gotta put it back on and I gotta take it off. And yeah, trying to regulate body temperature, I don't know what that is anymore.
Because once I start baking, it just goes up and up, and I can get out of the shade, but unless I get out of the outside, basically, it's going to keep
Yeah.
baking till it can slowly calm itself back down, which
Yeah.
was another issue when I had that nasty DNF. I was hyperthermic.
Oh,
So now that is a hard one to fight on a race course. Hypothermia, I've figured it out. I know how to fight that one.
yeah.
Hyperthermia, that's hard, especially if you're at dry venues like Dallas and there's barely no shading at Dallas.
No.
Ooh, I don't like Dallas.
I don't
Ooh.
blame you. You gotta know.
Um, yeah, cooling towels are your best friend. And all hydration stops are your showers. Just take a shower, whether they like it or not. You're taking a shower because you got medical problems. You got to take a shower. And
Yeah.
don't rely on hydration stops ever having water either. And
No.
that for me is a hard part. Like, I can't drink from a straw. Can you?
I can. I can drink from a straw now. I still I have to still slow myself down. Like I don't like I definitely know if I've had taken too much of a drink because I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I feel it. You feel it pretty
yeah.
quickly. Um, I can drink through straws. I definitely still can't do like carbonated drinks. Oh,
I haven't had a carbonated drink in 7 years.
uh,
Oh, I've tried. I tried a little bit because I had read and been told that I should be able to because technically gastric bypasses can. And I tried like the smallest. It burned
yeah.
my mouth.
It, it causes me a lot of almost like heartburn. Like you get like I
Yeah.
get like a huge bubble and it's like right just oh,
Mm,
it hurts. It just hurts.
yeah.
So I just don't do carbonated or if I have anything that does have carbonation, I will pop it open because I don't do sodas, but I've had like the carbonated waters and stuff. I there's one in particular, it's like my treat. I
Yeah.
have to open it and let it sit for a few minutes before I can even start to drink it because I can't that carbonation just hurts.
Yeah.
So straws aren't that big of a deal for me. And I'm glad they weren't because like the camelbacks and stuff having to pull from, you know,
Yeah. I can't do the straws even with the camelbacks. That's that, and so with that and carbs are my 2 hardest issues on a race course. Or really, I think, well, it depends on the course. For Spartan, protein is my biggest concern and my biggest one to
Yeah.
nail in. Because I've
Yeah.
sorted and found all the small carbs that don't take up much room that work for me, which is I just rely on crumbly small things.
Yeah.
But the hydration without straw. Now I've tried to test it a few times and I've, drank from a teammate's hydration pack with a straw and I blowed up like a Goodyear blimp and it hurts so bad.
Yeah, not worth it. That
No.
would be that would have been one of the harder things for me in Kilimanjaro, is not being able to have that, because they tell you to sip, like, you
Yeah.
you got to stay hydrated. So that what you're carrying might change just because of not being able to do the hydration pack. But even if you had the hydration pack and you could pour it into a bottle, that would work too.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just a lot of water to carry. Now, another
yeah,
thing I thought about earlier this month, because I'm always planning races and trying to figure things out,
yeah,
is one thing is they tell us don't drink water within 30 minutes or drink anything within 30 minutes of eating, because it just helps push it down. So then you're
yeah,
just peeing out more of your food. Well, with Kilimanjaro in a race course, we're constantly having to drink water after we're eating. So
yeah,
we're doing a lot of counterintuitive things, and it's just like, how do you stop that? Because that's the water starts to play against us halfway point. I just started thinking about this month. And
yeah,
I saw one lady posted on Facebook earlier last year that she used hydration patches. Like a nicotine patch or something, it goes in your skin, but and it actually hydrates. And I've been trying to find her post. It was one of the Spartan groups, but she said that she had used it at all her hot venues. And she had like raced in
interesting.
Dubai and used it, raced in West Virginia, like all the hot ones. So I want to research the hydration patches and see if
Yeah,
that could help, because I didn't even think about how much water I'd have to drink going up and down Killa. But I
yeah,
know on a race course, especially if it's hot, it's a very, very high amount. I have concerns about me and Killa. And Joey knows, our
yeah,
adaptive athlete knows. I don't think our adaptive athlete who's doing it has like stepped out and publicly said she's doing it. So that's why I just keep
yeah.
referring to them as an adaptive athlete.
I'm trying to think for myself, because I do, like, I did drink after, eating. Um, and I was doing, well, I had like a 2-liter pouch in my backpack and I had a couple of water bottles. And I know I got through the 2 liters of water every day and some of the water bottles. So I mean, you're talking at least 2+ liters of water.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I didn't even, I honestly, like, I feel like everything that I did surgery wise was like out the window while I was on Killy, just because it was such a different experience. Like,
Yeah.
I thought about it. I knew, my eating, like what I was eating was, I pretty much ate vegan with Joey.
Yeah.
Um, and I felt like I stayed, like, everything went very smooth. That I
Yeah.
think about it. It was just that higher altitude is what got me.
Yeah.
That's what got me. And I think it was more that carb protein ratio, getting that figured out at a higher altitude, because yeah, you know, Joey or some of the other people, they can pull out taking all that protein
Yeah.
and they have the carbs to keep them going. But for us, we can't pull out all of that protein, because
Mm-mm.
that's our main source of energy versus the carbs. So,
Yeah.
um, in drinking, like, I didn't even think about it because it was like little sips,
Yeah.
just constant little sips. I'm like, okay, this is no big deal, because it was never enough to like hurt my belly.
Yeah.
So, I could eat and then just start going and, oh yeah, sip, sip. I'm like, oh yeah. Time was like lost on me, I guess,
Yeah.
while I was there. So I didn't have a lot of issues with it. That's more of an issue I have like on a daily. a day-to-day thing is not drinking after I've eaten. That's more of a that's a hard thing still even to this day for me, is not drinking right away. But
I've never been one to drink when I ate food even prior to surgery.
yeah.
That my problem is remembering to drink at some point later. Because I'll notice, and I'll like start to feel like dehydrated beyond all rhyme and reason, and I'll start to feel a little shaky, and then I look at the clock, and it'd been like an hour and a half since I had any water, and I'm like, holy crap, that's right, we need water. We gotta hydrate. We're a plant. It's been a while.
I I struggle a little bit with water, but I do, like I said, that I have like the protein packets or whatever I put in my water. And I I'm an absolute coffee lover. I love coffee so
I
much.
do too.
I am so glad they told me had they told me I would have to give up coffee for this surgery, I would have been like, done. Sorry.
They told me I did, and I did for 9 months, and then I said, fuck that. And I had coffee, and everybody in my house was happy again. But I
I
can't.
did it. I did it for 3 weeks. My nutritionist, I asked her, I was like, do I have to give up coffee? And she's like, dear God, no, I wouldn't do that to you. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. So I have to remember, like, throughout the day is like, oh yeah, you've had your coffee. You need to please start drinking your water. So I have to
Yeah,
like remind myself that, water is not just bean water.
yeah,
Um, so that's where I struggle, is just making sure I actually drink the water that I'm supposed to
yeah,
drink. Like, I think people at work think I'm crazy half the time because I have like a big tumbler for water. I got
yeah.
my little thing of coffee and I got another thing. And I'm like, what the heck? Why do you have so many cups? Don't ask. Don't ask. It's okay. Um, so I definitely, 2027. I'll have to talk to Erica because that might be doable. Definitely might be doable because I want to get up there. Like, I was so proud of myself for getting to where I had gotten on Kili, to
Yeah,
get up to Kibo and get, a little bit above Kibo. It was like it was an accomplishment. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe like I actually did that. And I look at the mountains around here because I'm in Washington, and I'm like, huh, I've been higher than our tallest mountain here. That's kind of crazy. Like,
I would. I really want to go to help our adaptive athlete. B,
yeah.
I would love to be able to go because I remember when I was 32 and I had handicap on my license plate because my weight was so bad I literally couldn't walk much. And I would love to be able to summit Mount Kilimanjaro after all of that. So that's like a little personal, like me. I would like to do it for that. And then I want to
Yeah.
see the turtles in Zanzibar. I'm just all about the turtle. I'm just saying.
Just take me back to the sandbar in Zanzibar. The sandbar. Oh my
I was
gosh.
so jealous of all those pictures with the turtles. I'm like, I just want to swim with the turtles.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was 100% amazing. The whole trip was absolutely just like mind
Good.
blowing for me. Um, I've climbed Kili, and then I think to myself, I'm like, oh my God, I've swam in the Indian Ocean. Like,
That is so
this
cool.
is the craziest thing to me, and I absolutely love it. And that was such a highlight, to be able to be like in the Indian Ocean. The water was so warm and so clear. It was just amazing. So to go back, 100% want to. I'm low key, sorry, D. I'm trying to like, I want to convince my daughter to go and do it.
Yeah.
I asked her if she wanted to go to Africa to like see Erica and stuff. She's like, yeah, but I'm not climbing a mountain. I'm like, damn it. Come on. You want to climb a
I want to.
mountain? And it's not like it was like a really long hike. And that's the other thing for me, is I love hiking. I really enjoy it. I've never like done like overnight hiking or anything like that. And after doing Kili, I'm like, what is stopping me from doing it? Like
Yeah.
that we did
I
like
know I need to train for it because I've never even done backpacking before. So I definitely need to train for it because, like I said, I was not an athlete until gastric.
yeah.
So all I have is 7 years of training for OCR and 4 years of doing OCR. That's all I got. So
Yeah, and definitely having a backpack. The one thing I learned, because even being there, like my body, like, I don't know how much weight I actually lost while I was on Killy, but my body changed so much going up and coming back down that my backpack felt really like off when I
Yeah.
came off the mountain. Like, it didn't sit on my hips right anymore. And I was like, okay, good to know. Is I need to find a better backpack that can handle those fluctuations that we
Yeah.
have, because it was like, it was really weird to suddenly have my backpack that I had hiked with for like almost 8 months, and it just
Yeah.
didn't fit right anymore. So I left it there. I donated it. Totally fine with doing that. So that's the other thing for me, is finding that a good backpack that I can take backpacking overnight here, but still use for like Killy, and have it still continue to fit with the fluctuations of like the shape of our body. Cause
Yeah.
mine still changes, you know?
Yeah.
So that's going to be another trick for me to try to figure out too, is just finding that right backpack that sits where it's supposed to sit, but isn't going to
Yeah.
feel completely off from
Yeah.
losing, I would say losing weight, and gaining a little bit back. But just when you lose weight, it made everything just fit so funny on me. At least that's how I felt. Like, it just didn't feel right. But um yeah, I just put, because I didn't know exactly what to expect. Like, when I started getting my gear, I'd put it in my backpack, but I just took weights and put weights in my
Yeah.
my backpack and carried those with me, just so I could get used to some sort of weight on my back. And I was only like a year out from my surgery when I started doing this. And it was such an interesting feeling to put, like, 15, 20 pounds in a pack and carry it around. I'm
Yeah.
like, this isn't that bad. This isn't that heavy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you're only saying that because you literally just got rid of that. So it's not as
Yeah.
heavy to you, because your body's still not used to the fact that you don't have to carry that extra
Yeah.
around all the time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and the training mask, once I figured out the altitude training mask, that thing was, oh, chef's kiss. Like,
Yeah.
finally figured out how to get it on my head and keep it on my head.
Yeah.
So that was very helpful. It's hard to completely simulate the lack of oxygen, but it definitely helps. Like, I remember going up there because I work in the medical field. Like, we see people, and if their oxygen level gets below like 90, where they're like, you know, are you
Yeah.
okay? And so getting up there and like looking at my oxygen level, and they're like, oh, it's 75%, you're fine. I'm like, no, 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 that's not like, it was just like, no, you're good. You're good. It's okay. And I'm like, I'm glad you think so, because my brain's telling me no, that's not okay. Um,
Well, see, and that is something because when my iron crashes happen, my SpO2 drops drastically. And that's so I have my Garmin that does a constant check on my SpO2, and
yeah.
it took me a while because that was the other reason I needed to save up and get the Garmin was that because doctors were trying to figure out these crashes because they made no sense. And
Yeah.
so they like I had to I wore a heart monitor for my first ultra. And of course I told them that it was not going to survive, and they're like, "Yeah, it will," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, it won't," and it didn't. It didn't make it even the first mile because we had dunk wall, and it was gone
Yeah.
after that. Dunk wall
Yeah.
was right after our route. We went right into dunk, so it was gone. Then I lost it again at West Virginia. It just they're not
Yeah.
they're people don't usually wear those and go do what we do.
No.
Um,
No, they
so
don't.
anyway, so we got one recorded on my Garmin, and my SpO2 was like 1 minute, it's like 98%. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's 65%.
Oh,
And I don't feel good to say the least. And that's,
yeah.
I went and got protein, or my husband went and got me some and ate, and then I was doing better. Usually peanut butter is the main go-to. And
Yeah.
that is also similar to a diabetic. Now, when I am sugar crashing versus iron crashing. Iron crashing, I lack the ability to speak. Sugar crashing, I stutter. And I can
Okay.
talk, but it's always just stutter.
Stutters.
I
Yeah.
can't talk and stutter. Um, and I'm cognitive. I have cognitive
Yeah.
ability. I know where
Yeah.
I am. With an iron
Yeah.
crash, there's no cognition. I can't tell you where I am because I don't know.
You don't know. Yeah. Wow.
So so the sugar, so that anyway, so back to the ADHD, I was like, wait a minute, where's that going? Oh yeah. So when they check your SpO2 and you work in health,
Yeah.
that might be okay by there because they're thinking, out there. They're not
Yeah.
thinking what's inside's going on too. So keep that in mind too.
Yeah. And when I saw that, because when I saw my O2 got down to like 75, I was like, okay, we were at Kibo. I was like, all right, they seem to think it's fine. I honestly felt really good. I felt good until we
Yeah,
started getting higher, and then it was just gone. Um,
yeah. And it might
and
be just you need more calories, the right
yeah,
ratio to avoid the motion sickness. So you have the calories to burn to do
yeah,
that because the body's going to be working double, so it's going to need more calories. And
yeah,
again, those crumbly carbies are your best friend because crumbly carbies take up no room,
yeah.
next to nothing. I'm a
I
peanut butter and cracker fanatic.
I love peanut butter. I can totally do peanut butter and crackers. Yum, yum.
We just got to get you to
Yeah,
remember to remember.
yes, and that's it too, and it was such a new thing for me, like going to Killy, like I really didn't know what to expect. Like everything was so new. I just knew just what was been trained in my brain with having this surgery is, make sure you have your protein. Have your protein and stay hydrated. It was like, okay, I got my protein and I gotta stay hydrated. And they're talking, as we were there, they're like, oh yeah, I noticed that there wasn't as much protein in the meals. And I'm like, oh crap. And then, they said, yeah, it's more and more carbs now because your body doesn't process protein so great at these heights. I'm like, but that's what my body survives on is protein.
I'm
So
glad I'm learning this now. I've got time to strategize because my body doesn't pro oof, 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 oof. But wait, well, no, because I'm not doing obstacles.
well,
I got to
no
remind
obstacles.
myself the only thing I have to go off of is an OCR.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, no obstacles. Like the biggest, like
I don't really
you're
need
just
much protein.
yeah, you're just for me, I do a lot of protein. It keeps me pretty full. And so that's, what I went off of and gives me the energy I need. But yeah, those higher elevations definitely I was like, all right. And I was talking to Joey on the way back down. I said, this was, I think my problem was. I said, I didn't have enough carbs. My body did
Yeah,
not have enough fuel to go any higher. And so it's
yeah,
having those easy to easy to digest and have with me going up, having those extra little
yeah,
carbs. Because yeah, every water and carbs were the biggest thing I think for the final push. Yeah, that was my lesson for Kibo is definitely like for Kilimanjaro and Kibo and going higher
yeah,
is having the easy to digest carbs for us, that our body can
yeah,
process and give us that energy without having the huge crashes. Because that was the first time I've ever been that active and just like taking a step and like that nodding off. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not
yeah,
normal.
yeah.
So I could see that being like that crash of not having enough for my body to continue to go up. Despite all of that, it was amazing though. It was such an amazing experience. Definitely it can be done, especially even with bariatric having the surgery. Totally 100% doable. I think it's more your physical ability definitely plays a part of it, but it's also very much
Yeah.
it's a mental thing for sure. Um it was hard to tap out. That was the hardest part for me. I was really upset with myself at first, and then I had to like step back and be like, hello, you just went farther than most people. So why are you like quit
Yeah.
being hard on yourself? So um, but yeah, definitely I will be picking your brain more on those carbs and stuff though, because that's my biggest thing too, is like I know what I'm supposed to eat, on a regular day-to-day basis, but getting back into racing and everything is trying to find that balance between protein and carbs
Yeah.
and keeping that fuel for racing because that's a little bit of a worry for me. Like, I know I have to stay hydrated. I'm on medications that I have to stay hydrated because they dehydrate me quickly. So the hydration is not so much the problem, it's the fuel. My
Yeah.
fuel is the problem. So
Fuel is a constant problem, especially the carbies.
yeah.
Um, I know it's like I know the things to do, but I don't know the things to do at the same time. I have so many dang food allergies now that I did not have prior, that even the clean, like I am allergic to 99% of all fruits and vegetables.
Oh
I
my
can't really
gosh.
think of a vegetable I can actually eat. I can have cooked broccoli every now and then, cooked carrots every now and then, like when I make Asian at home, but
Yeah.
no, I can't. And that is the one thing they did tell me with my surgery, was that things like that, anything, especially anything high in fiber or with even a decent amount of fiber, is going to be impossible for my body to digest, and I would have to avoid. They said fiber would always be a problem for me.
Oh
Um,
wow.
the fiber deficiency will always be a problem for me.
Yeah.
Or whatever the correct term for that is, not getting enough fiber. So it's like, even the healthy stuff, I can't have it.
Wow. I haven't There's a few things I know I definitely can't eat any. I haven't really tried any salads.
No,
They
I don't
said
know.
that like salad would be like lettuces and stuff would be hard for your body to digest. And like, I'm gonna stay away from that because the dumping syndrome is real and it's not fun.
No, it's
Um,
awful.
yeah,
Don't
not
try
fun at
anything
all.
new on rice weekend or rice week. Always try your new rice snacks the week before.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I've tried I have tried doing like I did a bunch of like chopped vegetables and like it was so good. It was like cucumbers and bell peppers and I put red onion in it. Nope,
Yeah.
I cannot do red onion. Red onion causes me so much heartburn. It hurts so bad. So no red onions for me. So,
I my biggest was I developed an allergy to caseinite.
oh,
So I can't have dairy. And then I developed the inability to be able to drink or eat anything that's cold or frozen, or drink anything that's extremely hot. Like I can't have hot brewed coffee. I can't
oh,
have brewed tea. If it's brewed hot, I can't have it. Even if you brew it hot and you let it seep to cold, it ain't happening. It's bad. Um, all that changed completely. Never had issues before that.
oh, wow.
I was just allergic to citrus. Now I'm allergic to sesame seeds too. Can't have anything like seed wise. So like my cooking oils is uh coconut and avocado. I learned about all those from Michelle. She's been helping Joey's wife. She's been helping me figure out why I've been having a lot of stomach issues. And a lot of it,
Yeah.
she's been the things I've been eating. And it's stuff that I can't have anymore and shouldn't have. And once I cleared it out, I was like, holy crap. And then when I started eating healthier, then I was also finding other things I can't have that I'm supposed to be able to have, but I can't have because I'm allergic to it, like sesame. Sesame is like a favorite thing in healthy food. And I'm like, could it not be?
Can we not?
Just I'll find something great and looks healthy and like, okay, read the ingredients. All right, all right, all right. Sesame.
Oh no.
Like,
No.
why? Oh, and so yeah, finding the ratios at home, just day life, is a pain in
Yeah.
the butt. I live off of a lot of tuna,
Understandable. I
dog
will say
food, protein shakes.
the one thing I did like about being in Tanzania and even like at the airports in because I went to um oh my gosh, Qatar.
Yeah,
Um it Their foods there are so clean compared to our foods.
yeah.
I was able to eat things there that I couldn't eat. I can't eat at home very
That's what
well.
I've been told. And
They
Erica
have
told me
like
quite a lot about that.
like I was able to eat rice there because I don't eat you don't eat rice here. Like no. But I
I
could eat. I
can't, it
was
hurts
able.
my stomach.
It didn't hurt my stomach there. Like they're the chicken, like eating chicken there. Like my stomach didn't hurt eating food that normally here would hurt my stomach. And I'll tell you what, when I came home and I tried to just eat like regular food here in the US, My stomach was upset for almost 2 weeks. It
Mm,
took 2 weeks to like regulate back because our food's so different here than it is there. Like
yeah.
I didn't have the stomach issues. I didn't have any I had no bouts of dumping while I was there at all. And it was amazing. And then I came home and it was like I would eat and I had to stay near a bathroom because my stomach was not happy at all. So,
Sorry.
but Erica mentioned that could happen, and I'm so glad she did because I would have been
Yeah.
like, "What the hell is wrong with me?" all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
you're
But
prepared.
um, their food there was amazing, and their fruits, like I could have lived off the fruits there probably my entire time if I could have
Yeah.
because they were so good. Um, so that was an awesome thing about being in Tanzania is just their food was so clean and
Yeah.
that farm fresh food. Oh, I wish we could get that level of goodness here. um and I have learned like strawberries have always been one of my favorite fruits. I can't I have a hard time with strawberries now because of the seeds on them. Um
I'm fortunate I can still have strawberries.
yeah, their seeds are rough for me.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I can do raspberries, which is weird because sometimes their seeds are worse. But the raspberries
Yeah.
don't berries like this. Raspberries and blackberries don't bother me, but just strawberries for some reason just don't. They don't sit right. But again, That's the learning curve of after this surgery. That was finding the foods that you can and can't eat, and just avoiding the ones that you can't.
And unfortunately, it's throwing darts because you're not gonna know till you hit
Till
it.
you try it, yeah. I think that's why I have avoided salads for so long is because I heard, I read on like
Yeah.
some of the Facebook groups and, hearing from people, oh yeah, salads like just ran right through me. And I'm like,
I don't have a desire to eat one anymore. Like I
me
just
either.
don't. But
Yeah.
I do put lettuce on my burger if I have a burger, or if I'm making a burrito bowl, I'll put lettuce in it. Now, what I have found is iceberg lettuce is fine, romaine is fine. Don't do any other fancy lettuce. Don't do a springy thingy. Don't do a spinachy thingy. Don't do a kale thingy. I learned
Yeah.
trying these thingies, and it was so bad. I was kissing the porcelain god. It was so painful.
Oh yeah. That's why I think I've steered clear of lettuce so far. So I'm like, I'm just it's a vegetable that never scared me before, but now I'm like, nah, I'm
Yeah,
good. I'm good. I don't
I
want to
want
test those waters.
I don't know why I missed that satisfying lettuce crunch, and I went, like, 2 years, and I never had it because they had said, "Don't have it, it's too hard," and I was like, "I'll just try a little on a burger," and it was fine, and then so that's when I was like, "Okay, I can have lettuce," and then one time I accidentally got a mix that was, like, some spring that had kale and all of that in there.
Yeah.
It was I don't even think it hit my stomach because it was in less than, like, 45 seconds of swallowing it. I don't even know, it was fast. And I was
Oh,
like I felt it hit, and I was like, "Oh," I ran upstairs to the bathroom. It was nasty, bad.
yeah.
So, if you feel reluctant on any kind of lettuce, I mean, I get it, but so far, shredded, normal is fine.
I I might
Don't be doing fancy stuff like kale. Don't yeah.
I- I've never liked kale to begin with, so I'm okay with just steer clear of that one. Spinach, I like spinach, but I can steer clear of that. I might try lettuce. I might get there. I'm working
Yeah.
on that. It's like I'm easing up to it eventually.
Yeah.
But I don't miss salads that much, so it's not a huge deal to me, but I don't know. I couldn't go without having like my carrots and cucumbers and stuff because I like eating those. They're like I like that crunch from them. But it's definitely been a learning curve with
Yeah.
the surgery, and thankfully, I have a couple of good friends that have had the surgery as well. One had actual gastric bypass, and the other one had the sleeve as well. So they kind of I can like, hey, got any tips? Got anything you can eat? Then maybe I can try.
Yeah.
So, um. So 2027, that's 2 years?
Mhm.
Doable.
I gotta
Doable.
start I know I wanna put together a crowd fund, I just don't know when, because I don't wanna do it too early, I don't wanna do last minute. I'm gonna start that. It's probably this year. And I still gotta get my passport. I'm gonna do that next month.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'd have to update my passport.
And then I guess whatever vaccines I don't have, I need to make sure I get. And then go over customs for my parade of supplements and my food that I would bring that I need to have.
I didn't have any issues with any of the stuff that I brought. Um, like I bought a bunch of like beef jerky and stuff. Didn't have any issues getting any of that stuff through
I
customs.
didn't think I would. I wasn't certain about my supplements because I always feel like I look like a drug dealer with candy because I got some supplements that are gummies, like my vitamin C. I know it's
Yeah.
not really the healthiest way to eat it, but damn it, that little vitamin C gummy tastes great at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right?
But it's like I got a bag of pills, all different colors, shapes, and sizes, and you got a bag of gummy vitamins, and it's just like drug dealer with their candy. So I don't know if customs are gonna react to that much medication.
I had all of mine set out in like I had like cases like this, like three
Yeah.
of them for like 3 weeks worth of stuff. And I was like, I look like a freaking addict right now with all this medication like this. And they didn't say anything. So I was like, well, that's a good sign.
That's a good sign. There we go. I should be fine then.
They must have been like, oh, here comes those Americans with all of their pills.
All their shit. What
Yep.
main thing I've got to do unbariatric related that I have not done yet, I'm struggling to do, have tried to do, is quit nicotine. I got to quit that. I tried in Asheville. I tried 3 days before Asheville to quit cold turkey. Went to Asheville weekend, still cold turkey, and thank goodness for the team and their love because they probably had to remind themselves they loved me a lot to deal with me for a few days because it was bad. It was, I don't know if my temper was per se a thing, but I know I was just emotional. Lots of crying, lots of anxiety, lots of just people go away from me. So I'm going to try again this year with anxiety medication, but that for me is the hard part about Killa. That is the hardest part for me in Killa is quitting nicotine.
Definitely, which, yeah, that would be something to start. Yeah, little baby steps on that. I know from what I have heard, that's one of the hardest ones to quit, that
And
addiction.
And I've learned that when I quit, because I do vaping, I used to, it was cigarettes, now it's vaping, is
Yeah.
that it's a stimulant for ADHD. That's why a lot of people with ADHD are nicotine dependent. So I took it out, and then all of a sudden I started stimming all over the house. Like I was pacing all the time, and my hands kind of moved. It was like I was stimming like a teenager again. And it was because I didn't have the nicotine. And it was just, I had no way to control my focus without it. That's how I focused.
Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And yeah, I didn't even think
Quick.
about that because I know some people that, they vape and stuff, and it's that nicotine. I'm like, oh, well, maybe you have undiagnosed ADHD because now it makes so much more sense because they will do the same thing. Like they
Yeah.
have to have something going on with their hands, and they're just like, oh, that makes so much sense. That explains so much. It's the little things that you don't even realize, and like, oh, that makes so much sense now.
And see, and I didn't even realize that it was also addiction transference. So when I also quit the nicotine, all of a sudden I'm eating again. Food addiction's back. As I tell everybody, the gastric bypass is a tool, but it don't cure the problem. That's up to me.
No.
And
Yeah.
so then I'm just eating whenever, and I'm just justifying it because I got to get through this to quit nicotine. And if I just get through this, the eating will go away. But the eating problem wasn't going away, and I gained about 13 pounds in 2 weeks, which for me was a lot. I just, but of course, I had the race weekend, but still 13 in 2 weeks. It was nonstop eating, and it was a lot of my poison dark chocolate. Dark chocolate fanatic. So then it became apparent that the eating addiction was a transference from another addiction that was just not something I could deal with. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to this nicotine, and we're gonna try this again. We cannot combat 3 addictions in one time.
No, that's a
So
hard one to do. And that's another thing, is they tell you, yeah, the surgery's a tool. And you have to be hyper aware of, like, I know I'm an emotional eater and I stress eat. I know that. I know that about myself. And I have to really work to keep that in check. And
yeah,
some days I do fantastic. And there are other days where I'm like, I suck today, but that's okay. But it
every
is
day is
that constant in your head having to remind yourself, are you eating because you're hungry, or are you eating because you're reverting back to your old
yeah.
habits? And addictions, because food, yeah, I have a sugar addiction. I have a very strong sugar addiction, and it's hard to beat. I did it for a year and a half. I did great, and then I slid, and I'm like, oh crap. Now I got to pull
Mhm.
myself out of that backslide, and it's not easy.
It's not, and it's when especially when I'm racing, because there is no diet on a race
Yeah,
weekend for me. Because I can't be beggars can't be choosers. I got to get my carbs and get my proteins and get it where I can. And
yeah,
some of it is junk food. And it's
yeah.
like, don't even get me started on me and my chocolate chip cookie addiction. It's bad.
Dude.
Especially famous Amos. Mm,
Oh, no, all right. The hospital I work at, whoever their baker is, makes these chocolate chip cookies that are so freaking good. They're like soft and chewy in the center, and the edges are nice and just like, oh, yeah. I
you
kind of have
feel
a
me?
problem with that. I'm right there with you on that one.
Yep, it is not easy. So like if I'm feeling like I'm just munching, I'm like, okay, well, how do we know if we're hungry? Do we want a pack of tuna or do we really just want a bag of cookies? Really just want the cookies? Okay, then we're not going to eat. Okay, we're not going to eat. Nutrition, not snacks. But then I have my days where I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to have a cookie.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
give
it's a
myself
balance.
grace.
It's a balance. Like you said, race days there's no diet, and every other day it's not. I try not to think of it fully as a diet. It's just making, yeah, you might have that cookie today, but tomorrow, stay away
Yeah.
from the damn cafeteria and don't go grab that cookie.
My biggest thing is don't bake the clean stuff because a lot of what helps me stay away from the bad stuff is the ingredients. I look
Yeah.
on the back of it and I see like a paragraph and I'm like, I don't know what half that is. But I also have learned how to start baking cleaner and like I made black dark chocolate dairy free brownies like 2 weeks ago. And normally I'll get like a small piece and then the family gets the rest. Family got none. Now they're clean, yeah. That don't mean they're healthy. They're still brownies with sugar and a dark chocolate. Actually, I use black cacao, but yeah,
Oh,
they got none.
yum.
My kids were upset. They say,
Mom.
I'll make y'all some. I'll make y'all the box stuff because I ain't gonna eat the box,
Right. I'll eat the healthy ones.
the cleaner ones. Oh yeah, I'm getting hungry now thinking about food. Oh, it's getting close to my dinner time.
See, yeah. I'm like, oh, what time is it? And I looked, I'm like, oh, we're like right at an hour. Sweet.
So do you, because like, does your body keep itself on a set schedule? Like my stomach, and it drives me freaking nuts, wakes me up between 4:20 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. I know 4:20 sounds weird, but it really, 9 times out of 10, is 4:20 when I wake up. And it's my stomach. It hurts so bad. It's so hungry.
In the morning, yeah, I usually wake up, and yeah, I'm an early morning person anyways, and I have a puppy that lets me know it's 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm usually up between 5 and 5:30, and I eat like some high protein yogurt with a little bit of like the protein granola in it.
Yeah.
And that's my breakfast. And I usually eat within about 20-30 minutes of getting up. I've got to
Okay.
get
Yeah.
something in my stomach, and then I have like my coffee and everything, but my breakfast is the first thing. And at work, because my lunchtime varies, I know come like 1:30, if I haven't taken my lunch, I have to flat out tell people like, hey guys, I gotta go eat.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm starting
No,
to
I'm
get
not.
like, I'm getting hangry and I'm not feeling good. So I
Right.
gotta go eat. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have to eat by between 12 and 1:30. And then at night, um, I usually have dinner between 7 and 8. And that just kind of varies on what time I get out of work and I get
Yeah.
home. But I know that I'm pushing it. If I haven't had dinner by 8 o'clock at night, I'm pushing it. And it's like, I feel it. I feel it when I
Yeah.
don't eat. I feel it when I don't have like a good snack in between my meals too. Cause it's
Yeah.
like, my body feels off, but yeah,
Yeah.
I can't go long periods of time without eating. Like I thought I got hangry before. I don't just get kind of hangry, I get
Uh-uh.
sick at the same time.
It's a whole nother level of hangry. It's like I
Yeah.
usually eat every 2 hours. That's why I'm a little hobbit. It's like every 2 hours, first dinner, second dinner. Like my dinner
Yeah.
time is between 5:30 and 6 p.m. But 9 times out of 10 by 5:45, I'm eating or have eaten.
Yeah.
And then like I'll eat again at between 7:30 to 8 because I'll be hungry again and that second dinner. But yeah, I wake up and usually my supplement breakfast, I'm full, but by 6:30 I'm having a banana. And then I'll eat again at 9 if I'm not in the gym, like it just varies. But by 11 to 11:30, it's lunch. And then by 1:30, 1 to 1:30, depending on when I have lunch, a snack, and then usually 3 to 4 a snack, and then at dinner. It's nonstop. I just hate
Yeah.
waking up. So it's like I'm an early bird, but I'm more like 6:30. This 4 a.m. thing, 5 a.m. thing, like I'm like, and I've tried eating at 9 p.m. just to be like okay to sleep a whole night. Like I won't sleep into 7 on a weekend. Stomach says no. I don't
No.
care if you eat at 9 p.m. You're still waking up at 5:30 a.m. You get to sleep in. It's 5:30, not 4:30.
Yeah, it's you definitely I do the same thing. I'll wake up some mornings and like my stomach hurts. Like I'm actually like that's when I know I'm like physically hungry is my stomach hurts when I wake up in the morning. I'm like,
I hate that
"Ugh,
feeling.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's like actually woken me up, like, you're dreaming and like all of a sudden I'm like, why am I feeling like this? And it hits me. I'm like, oh great. My stomach
Yeah.
wants me to get up. I need food. Awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome. I love that wake up call. Thanks, stomach. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so if it's not the dog waking me up at like 5:30, my stomach has done it a few times too. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
It's my day off. I want to sleep.
No, every Saturday morning, I just hope I can wake up and see 6:45 a.m. on the clock. Just 6:45 at least.
Oh yeah.
Never, 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 never. Not since
Nah.
surgery. It's very rare. And then don't even get me talking on race on when I do a trifecta, everybody knows I'm gonna be in the kitchen 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night eating. Because after
Yeah.
I do a beast on Saturday, I usually will get up twice to eat in the middle of the night because I get hungry. And it's the kind of hungry where you're in physical pain. And
Yeah.
when I wake up again on Sunday morning, I'm still that hungry.
Mhm.
And that is the other thing is when you race, when you pull a trifecta, you remember the day before you're supposed to carb up, right?
Yeah.
Well, you still have to race on Sunday. So you're still supposed to be carbing up. So we've got to fuel the race we're currently doing and carb and fuel for the next one.
Which was easy. Like it was easier to do before surgery. And
Yeah.
now after surgery, it's like it's such a game of it's like putting a puzzle together and balancing it out. It's like a game of
hmm
Jenga.
hmm
Because yeah. Oh
It is,
yeah.
but once you start to crack the code for you, it really will just start to fall into place. Once
Yeah.
I cracked the code for me, which for me it was the protein, and it just started to fall into place. And I'm still struggling with the carbs because again, we can only eat so much. There's only so much we can do,
Yeah.
but cracking that code and finding what worked best for me. And so now it's when I hit a hiccup, it's a lot easier for me to figure it out and
Yeah.
take a step back from it. It's just finding that. Once you do, you're good.
Yeah, that's still working on that, getting there. I have definitely learned the whole like you gotta have your carb thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, lesson learned. Now I know how to go forward with it. But
But you've got to
um
have sugar, not just carb. And
carb.
sugar was the hard one for me to accept because because I have a sugar addiction, I don't
Yeah.
want the sugar snacks on a race course,
Yeah.
but got to have them. So that that, I don't know for you, but for me, that's the hardest one to hit on a race course because mentally I don't want that sugar.
Yeah. That's hard on a daily basis because like I said, I stayed away from sugar for a long time and I slid, and now I'm fighting that sugar addiction again.
Yeah.
And yeah, I may not be able to eat too much, but sometimes that sugar wins out over the healthier things, and that is so hard not to beat myself up over because I'm like, okay, you know what's going on,
Yeah.
and it's not going to stop overnight. So that'll be that's a hard one to balance out because when you know you got that, you don't want to
Yeah.
slide back into it. So finding that sugar without having without having a lot of the sugar.
So what a lot of it I found is there are things that I eat like for my sugar I don't normally want. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a big gummy person. Like I do like my little vitamin gummies, but I
Yeah.
don't like just eating gummy bears. I don't just like eating oats and honey granola bars. So it's a lot of it's stuff that I wouldn't normally eat anyways. Now, when it comes to like an ultra or toughest or worlds, then it's everything, including the crap that I shouldn't have, like Famous Amos chocolate chip cookies. But for the race course, I do try to keep it as things I don't normally eat, but I also try to keep it things I do love. Like I love chocolate chip and peanut butter together. So I do
Yeah.
chocolate chip and peanut butter, but then you have that again, you're sliding because you're having the sugar, which
Yeah.
keeps that addiction. So it's a hard one to fight. And I ain't
Yeah.
found balance to recommend, but I'm like right now, because I'm back on, I'm trying to do good, is I'm just not buying it. And I find myself pacing the house looking for it, but that's why I didn't buy it.
Buy
And
it.
that for
Yeah.
me is the hardest part is not buying.
Yeah.
Because I don't make my kids eat how I do. I give them the information. It's up to them what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I like they have their junk food. They love their Oreos. I miss Oreos. So I still buy their stuff and I'll go look in the pantry. And that's the great thing is I won't eat any of the stuff that I get them because it's just too much. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially Oreo. That's so much A, it's so much chemicals and sugar, and B, it's so much milk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, yeah, luckily for me, like my daughter moved out last year, and so it's just me and my mom. And my mom has like maybe a total of 10 things that she'll eat now.
Yeah.
So it's easier to be able to go to the store and not buy it. Sometimes it's just that not buying it that's hard for me. And
Yeah.
I've had my daughter just look at me like, seriously, mom? I'm like, okay, no, I won't buy it. I won't buy it. I won't buy it. So
Yeah.
it total balancing act and having a lot of grace with yourself,
I
which isn't
we
easy.
will get through it. It's
Yeah.
one day at a time, and lots and
Yes.
lots and lots and lots of grace.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much for coming on with me and talking to me about this
You're
because you've
welcome.
actually
Thank
helped
you.
me figure out planning for Killy too. Because
And you're definitely going to be a big help in helping me plan for Kelly.
I am always available.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on with me. And I will reach out to you so we can share more tips about this because I think I might figure out how to go to Killy in September of 2027.
I
So
love it.
yes, be awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Nice meeting you.
Bye. Nice to
Bye.
meet you too. Bye.
Mike, Hammer, and Don or whatever.
From BeachNet.